Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Milwaukee Road operations. If you remember, in our last episode, we were focused on the deliveries made down in Milan. This episode, we're back up at Avery because we have a train that had arrived prior to our Milan activities that needs to be broken down and sorted into the yard so that we can dispatch trains from it. We are also waiting for a late Olympian to arrive in Avery, and when that happens, if it's during this episode, we'll help it swap out the electric locomotive for the diesel locomotives that will be pulling it on its journey to the Seattle and Tacoma areas. But with that said, we are going to get started, and we're going to use our switcher here. There's our locomotives for the Olympian when it arrives. And there we go. We are ready to get moving. We're going to come over, let's connect it to these cars, and then we'll look at what we have. And remember, with the Milwaukee Road, since it is a 24-hour operation, at midnight, we will be moving off this layout and moving over to the Catitas layout, the Beverly to Catitas route. And we'll work our trains over there for a 24-hour period. We're going to start with this string here. Let's put up our tags. We've got our path cleared, so we don't have to worry about problems with cars derailing. So it looks like we have a couple things going on. So URM, these cars are destined for the Utah and Rocky Mountain. Tenson, where the Milwaukee Spur joins the Utah and Rocky Mountain, Tenson is actually south of there. So this set of cars and the Moscow cars and Julieta, These cars here we'll consider as southbound. And then our Coeur d'Alene cars here on the Utah and Rocky Mountain, these are northbound. Spokane, that would be grouped with northbound. So these would all be northbound cars here. And then we have cars that are staying on the Milwaukee Road, and they're going to continue on their journey west towards the Seattle-Tacoma area. And it looks like these cars are specifically, it's a mix. So here's some that are going on towards Seattle. And we have some that are flagged for the Beverly Yard. And so on this string, it looks like the cars are flagged for the Beverly Yard, and then there's a few for Seattle. So for our purposes, we need to set up a place for the southbound train, which I think we can use this track for that purpose. And we'll collect our northbound cars over on this track. And once we get this string, and then we'll let the Milwaukee Road cars stay on this track here. Once we have that organized, we will go over to the other string by the engine facilities, and we'll add those cars to either the Milwaukee train that we're assembling, or it will be added to the southbound URM train or the northbound URM train. Once we have that done, the cars on this track, the northbound, we will take back over to that siding next to the engine facility, and that's where we're going to leave those cars, and that will keep our main line clean for us, or clear. So with that said, what we'll do is come down here, and we're going to start with the all the Utah and Rocky Mountain cars. So we're going to break it there. And what I want to do, we said that these are all northbound. So we'll move these northbound cars to this track, and then the southbound cars will move over here. So since we're going to use this track, I am going to throw this switch and this switch so that we'll come out onto this track, and then we can push them forward and park them right here for now. We are going to start up a new route building series on the channel, and it's related to the Milwaukee Road. That's why I'm sharing it. That route building effort is I'm building a very small temporary layout that models the Seattle Union Station and King Street Station. And that will facilitate our operations episodes for the time being. And I plan to use the small 1 or 2 tile route. We'll figure that out as we build the thing. Just depends on the space needed. But this very small route will be used as our pallet when I begin work on a DEM-based route. We can use the Trainz copy-paste feature to actually copy the track and the scenery objects and textures and actually paste them onto the layout where they're going to exist, basically. Oh, you know what? I think I did this wrong. I thought it was this track, but this is the track we wanted. So I guess it's still technically off the main line. So, oops, that was my bad. So now we'll bring it back. Nice. But it doesn't matter. We needed to move the car out anyway to clear the switch, so. And as I said at the beginning, once this gets through, we'll throw the switch and stay on this track here. We don't need to venture out onto the main line. So my bad. But anyway, back to the route building. I'm going to build another Milwaukee Road layout, very simple layout, not based on DEM data or anything like that, of the Tacoma area. And that gives us the two endpoints when we're modeling trains like the Olympian. We can actually run them to their destination stations. So that is the plan moving forward. And once we get these two layouts done, I'll basically figure out when I'm going to get started on the DEM-based layout. I have a learning curve because I have to use Trainz DEM for that. I'm not going to build it the same way that I did the Utah and Rocky Mountain. I want to take advantage of the newer software, the Trainz DEM software. I know it's not really new, but it's newer than what I was using on the Utah and Rocky Mountain, which the tool I used there was called the Hand of God, and it would take DEM data and put it into a Trainz tile. I don't know if any of you remember that, but that was back in the day. Trainz DEM, from what I've read, seems to handle things a little bit better, so I want to try to use it. The DEM-based layout will be, I think the first route, depending on the size, it's either going to be just the Seattle and the Tacoma area, probably including Renton, because we need the Black River Junction so that we can put in the Y that was down there to get it so that trains could travel between Seattle and Tacoma. And of course, if you are a fan of the Milwaukee Road, you know that Tacoma was technically the end terminus of that railroad, not Seattle. Okay. As I said, let's get this switched back. Now our main line is clear, and we've got this track to work on. Oh wait, I did something wrong. This is what happens when I talk and try to do stuff. Nice. Okay, so let's put these up. These are all southbound cars, so we want to grab our southbound cars. These are all southbound. These are northbound. So we're looking for down to here. Okay, so this is our first string of Utah and Rocky Mountain cars that are ultimately heading south on the Utah and Rocky Mountain Railroad. Okay, so now we want that like that. And we're going up to be this switch here. This is where we're going to put all the southbound cars. The time is 10 minutes to 10 o'clock in the evening in Avery. There we go. Okay. A little bit of a change plan here, but that's okay. I'm going to go down and grab this other string because it has a bunch of Utah and Rocky Mountain Railroad bound cars on it. We're going to push these in and we're going to keep everything on the same string, and we'll just deliver the cars where they need to go in the yard. Here's our string of cars, and ultimately this will be where the northbound Utah and Rocky Mountain uh, train will stay until we have locomotives for it. Oops. I didn't think it was as long as that. Um, but anyway, here we are. Let's see what we have done here. What have we wrought? Okay, we got it to stop in time. So that's a good thing. These cars are in the right spot, so we're gonna disconnect here. And then let's pull forward. Nice. Let's see what's going on. There we go. That should get it. Okay, so we want to basically have it stop so we can use this switch. Okay, so let's look at what we have. So Boise is going south on the Utah and Rocky Mountain. So these will go up into the yard to join our southbound cars. That's going to take all these. Seattle is on the northbound, so these will join our northbound cars. Portland is basically on the northbound part of Utah and Rocky Mountain. And that gets us to the locomotive. So once we have the northbound cars coupled to our string down here, we will then pull the string back to the siding that we were just at and basically get, there we go, Tenson, get it parked over there while we wait for locomotive power. Okay, so the Boise cars are coming to this area here. Keep doing this. Okay, the brakeman does his thing, and now it's time to push these. It's 7 minutes past 10 o'clock in the evening. Okay, so now we're gonna pull ahead. I see a problem. We have some cars that are coasting, so let's catch them, and I don't think we put brakes on these. Nice. We'll have this fixed in a second. There we go. Okay, now this collection of cars, uh, starting with Seattle, these cars are going north on the Utah and Rocky Mountain. Okay, now these are going to come down here, and we're going to pick up these cars, and we're leaving the Milwaukee Road cars on this track. And the brakeman does his thing. And now we're going to pull this train forward until we see the Milwaukee cars, and we'll leave them right about this area here. Go down and make sure these are all Milwaukee. I believe that they are. Ooh, I see some URMs. And then all the way back here is Milwaukee. Okay. We need to pull this forward. I'm glad I caught that. We need to pull these forward till we get to the end of the Coeur d'Alene cars. Okay, so let's find our uncoupled car here. There it goes. Okay, my bad. Okay, now. I thought that northbound train was a little small. So we'll pull these out. We'll move the northbound URM cars onto another track, maybe on this track or something. So that we can get things done here. Okay, so we're going to go to the end of the Coeur d'Alene cars. Okay, we're going to drag these cars down to the siding, and that's where we're going to split the Utah and Rocky Mountain cars off and end up with just the string of Milwaukee cars that we'll bring back down. That way we don't have to deal with fancy footwork in the junctions up here. Okay, now let's see. We have northbound cars. All right. Here they are. Okay. This is the car we're looking for. Okay, so let's pull this forward. Yep. Actually, I think I want this to be right here. This is actually where we want to stop. Okay, there we go. Okay, and here comes our string of Milwaukee cars. Okay, now we're going to push our Milwaukee cars to about here. And now we have all our Utah and Rocky Mountain cars will be grouped together, and we have the remaining part of our Milwaukee train. Okay, and the brakeman does his thing. And now we're going to push these back onto the siding. Okay. Off we go. Brakeman does his thing. Now let's push these back just a little bit more. We'll move them back to about here. Okay, let's go see where the Olympian is at. And here is our late Olympian. And this is where we're going to finish this episode. We'll have him pull into Avery, and in our next episode, we will begin with the locomotive swap and him, the Olympian, proceeding on his way. See if it's going to let it do it. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, there we go. And that is where we're going to leave this episode. In our next episode, we'll begin with swapping out the locomotives so that the Olympian can continue on its way. Better late than never. And we'll start dispatching trains. We have a Milwaukee Road train that is headed to the Seattle-Tacoma area. So we can get that out, and we'll have to check on our locomotive power and see what we can do with the Utah and Rocky Mountain trains. If you like this type of content, I highly encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Your subscription is free, and it does help to make sure that this type of content remains on YouTube. If you'd like to help us grow our audience, hit like. Please leave your comments and suggestions, and hit the bell if you'd like to be notified the next time the next episode becomes available. When you do that, make your selection from the menu that appears. I have an announcement to give you, or an update. Last weekend, we made it to our 100 subscriber milestone. And I wanted to just take a moment to thank all of the new subscribers who made that milestone possible. And I want to also thank all of our subscribers that have been with us for a while. We really do appreciate all of you. And I enjoy making these videos, and I am very thankful for your support and your help in getting this channel to grow. And with that, we'll see you on the next one.